multiple providers to provide the plan for each individual family, because not every family is the same. Not every individual needs the same thing, right? So we gotta tailor and we gotta customize the plans for the families. So that's how we're different. I didn't come from the financial industry. I came from a health industry, actually. I was a chiropractor before. And I had private practice. I had a wellness center in San Jose, California. But how I got to financial industry was, I saw a need for financial knowledge. Because patients will walk into my door and they just don't have enough money to take care of their health. Most patients, they come in just for emergency care. When it's really hurting and they can't walk, then they go to the emergency room or they come see me. But before that, you're supposed to maintain. Like Jan talked about, being fit and all of that stuff. And that's right, you're supposed to maintain, but maintenance costs a lot of money. And taking care of your health and adjusting your spine regularly, or getting massages or getting wellness care regularly costs money. But that's what it requires for you to not be in the emergency room or not to come see me when you're really hurting, right? So I say, why people just don't have enough money? And I started digging into it, and I found out more than 50% of divorces are because of money-related problems. And kids growing up in the home, hearing their parents argue about money. And it dawned on me, hey, the root of physical stress is actually from financial stress. And financial stress causes emotional stress, which in turn causes physical stress. So I'm actually treating third level down instead of treating the root of the problem, you see? So I started getting into finance, and I said, you know what, this is fascinating. And so I sold my practice and got into financial services and decided to build a team and decided to go very, very big. And it's been a great journey, and I learn a lot, and I teach a lot. And I love talking about finance. I know that it might be a subject that you guys don't want to hear in the morning, money, finance, but seriously, I'm going to make it fun. And these are the stuff that you need to know. Everybody needs to know. If you know it already, that's awesome. Maybe it's a review for you. If you don't know, it's going to open your eyes today, okay? My goal for all of us today is, if you don't have a solid foundation for your finances, today you're going to walk out feeling very good about yourself. You're going to know exactly what to do. All you need to do is take action, right? Either with me or another financial advisor, that's okay. But I'm going to give you solid steps, exactly what to do, okay? How many of us know that we all related? We're all related. We have the same uncle.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam. Okay. So all of your money goes into one of these three buckets. All of the accounts in the financial industry, your bank account, your brokerage, your stocks, your mutual funds, your retirement plans, they either fall into one of these three buckets, okay? The first bucket is called taxable. Tax deferred, or tax later. And then the third one is tax exempt. I mean, first off, right off the bat, you know where you want your money to go already, right? It just sounds cool to have tax exempt. But Uncle Sam, the reason why Uncle Sam does this is because you always have to pay taxes. Two things for sure in life. One is
you die.
You die. There. Two is taxes. Do you know that Uncle Sam taxes you when you are born, when you are living, and when you're dead? When you're dead, it's called estate tax. It's 40% of all your wealth, right?
I don't like that uncle.
Yeah.
You don't like my uncle, he's mean. I don't like him either. That's why I'm helping people to strategize so that we pay Uncle Sam as the least that we can. Is that a good deal?
Yes.
But how many of us feel really comfortable? You know what? At the end of the day, I get to keep more than Uncle Sam. How many of us feel really comfortable? When I speak to audiences, most of them don't. Because they just simply don't know, right? So tax deferred is, if you know any, you can just shout, this is your bank account, your CDs, certificate of
Deposit.
depreciation, your brokerage, stocks, mutual funds, and your real estate. You know the difference between stocks and mutual fund? Stocks is one company, mutual funds is multiple companies. That's all, right? So if you own a stock of Amazon, you part ownership. If you own enough shares, you get to 1, 2, 3, 4% ownership of the company. And you get to participate at their table discussing how the company should be run. That's how people take over companies. They buy a lot of stocks from that company. Like Elon Musk just bought over Twitter. He just went in and took over all the stocks. If you own 51% of the company, that means you own 51% of the stocks. That means now you're majority ownership. So you get to run the company. Is that cool? So you have money. I mean, that's really cool. Mutual fund is, if I open a Dewey mutual fund, I sell shares of that mutual fund. And y'all will pour the money in to buy those shares. So it's mutually funded, right? And within Dewey's fund, I will choose different companies that I will invest in. Right? And then you would just buy the shares of that mutual fund. Which one is safer? Mutual fund is a little more safer because look at it this way. If you have an elevator and you have one string attached to it and too many people on, it's kind of scary, right? It might break. But if you have multiple 10 strings, you're a little safer. That's what it is. Real estate, so taxable. Real estate, we all know that the primary home is good, but the investment home is where we get into the capital gains tax problem, right? So in this bucket, you're paying tax 2 times. You're paying income tax. How many of you would like to pay tax 1 time? And how many of you would like to pay tax 2 times?
1 time is fine. It's already more than enough.
But let me tell you this. My parents, all their lives, and they teach me this, they only put money in the first bucket. Most of their money goes into the CD account. They do some stocks. They have their primary home. Most of the money goes to the bank. So they pay income tax. After your paycheck comes out, you put money into these plans, right? That's all that they know about. And I grew up, just put money in the bank, buy some CDs, maybe buy real estate, and I get stuck with paying income tax, and then anything that you gain in that bucket, you have to pay capital gains tax. And right now, Biden is proposing capital gains tax raised to 28%.
Jesus.
So you're telling me income tax is going up, capital gains is going up, but why are we staying in that bucket? You see? What is good? What is the purpose of taxable right here? We teach people only emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of your income. Why? Because the bank is very liquid. Liquid means you can take out anytime. It's good for going to the ATM. Take out, deposit, take out. Anytime. So if something happens, you take out of the emergency fund, you don't touch these two investment buckets. So your money continues to grow, okay? So over here is where you make your money, go to work for you. Here you work for money, you put it in for emergency fund. Here you start to invest, making money for the work for you. This is your 401k, your IRA, your annuities, your pension. Anybody have a pension at their workplace anymore? No? In the 90s, it used to be over 80% companies offer pension. I worked for FedEx for 7 years, I had a pension. And I just talked to the FedEx guy who delivered to my house. I said, you guys still have pension? Nope, they cut that. So even FedEx cut that. Who has pension these days? Teachers, government workers,
State workers.
state workers.
My boyfriend has one.
Yeah. So what does it mean tax deferred? That means that you don't pay tax now, you pay tax later in retirement. So the age that you're thinking of, you should be knowing is 59 and a half. If you invest in all these money buckets at 59 and a half, you can start taking it out. Before that, if you want to take out, there's a penalty. And there's a tax that you have to pay. So that's why if you have an emergency fund, you don't have to take out from here. The people get in trouble when they only invest in 401k and nothing else, and they don't have an emergency fund built up. If something happens in their family, they draw from 401k. Or worse, they take out 401k or IRA to invest in homes, buy investment homes. Not a very good strategy, okay? Good strategy here is retirement. So here you say for retirement, think of it this way, Uncle Sam is very smart. You think that he gives you tax deferral for your benefit only? No. Think about this. You have 10 seeds of apple trees, okay? Uncle Sam says, I won't tax you on the seeds, but I want you to go and plant them. And then when you grow an apple farm, you start to harvest all the apples every year. That's when I want to come in and tax you on the farm. See? So he lets you grow bigger. He doesn't tax you because he wants the bigger chunk.
Big money.
Okay? So income tax right now is how much you're paying income tax. Maybe 24%, 32%. If you're very wealthy, over 400,000, you're paying about 38%. Right? Over $1 million, you pay over 40%. So later on at 59 and a half, Dylan, right?
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
29.
Last date. Yeah.
The baby.
Young.
20 and a half.
My goodness.
So you have, let's just say right now you save. You save.
Yeah.
Then at 59 and a half is when you start to retire. Hopefully, right? That's 30 years.
Yeah.
Now you're paying income tax, let's just say 30%. Do you think income tax in 30 years will be higher or lower or stay the same?
Probably higher. Probably higher.
Probably higher.
Yeah.
In fact, it's rising every year.
That's nuts.
Okay?
Going to Mexico.
Did you know? Did you know that in the not 90s, the 40s after World War II, how much the income tax bracket was? The highest marginal income. Did you know that it was 94%?
I'm floored.
94.
How is that even possible?
Because after World War II, we have to rebuild the country. So the government tax you more to have more money
So they
to
got to
rebuild.
recover the money they spent on the war.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, this is scary, you guys.
It's the same thing like now.
Yes,
With everything that's happening in the stimulus, that's why
Yeah.
everything's going up to recover.
exactly. Okay. In fact, from 1940 to about 1980, so roughly 40, 50 years, the average highest marginal income tax was 80%.
No.
How many of you live in the 60s, 70s. I was born in 1977. I didn't know anything. And it started going down when Reagan came into office. So Reagan is actually a good guy. But right now, income tax is going up. Why? The biggest problem right now is national debt. How much is it right now?
$1
26 trillion or something like that?
32
32.
trillions and
Yeah.
jumping every second.
Mm-hmm.
The resource you go to is nationaldebtclock.org
And you watch it.
and watch it tick. It doesn't go down, it just goes up.
Mhm.
So how, you know that half of the taxes that the government collects from us today goes in paying for the interest of that debt only. So in order for our government to not default on their debt, they have to increase taxes. That's one of the main things that bring them income. The other way is to decrease spending. Do you see the government decrease spending anytime?
They're
No.
gonna pay $500 for that toilet seat now.
You know, I don't want to get political, but it all relates to our life. And we got to pay attention to this, right? So we know income tax is going up, and it won't slow down because we need to pay off that $32 trillion. So if you can do the math, the $32 trillion is probably, you can say, you just can't pay that off.
No, it's never gonna be paid off.
You just can't pay that off. So we're in trouble for a long, long time. And who's gonna pay for it? We are, the taxpayers. Okay, tax exempt. This is your Roth IRA, your Roth 401k. If your company offers that, that's beautiful, because it's in a tax exempt bucket. Your 529 plan for your kids to go to college, your cash value life insurance. This, you pay income tax already. If you put money in here, you gain, you don't have to pay capital gains tax. So this, you pay tax one, income tax only. So you rather pay it now when it's low, invest in here, when you gain, doesn't matter how much you gain, you don't have to pay capital gains tax. Another beautiful thing over here, I want to add on is also your HSA account, health savings account. It's a beautiful account for you to take advantage. So here's making money work for you. Roth IRA, there's a limit to it, about $6,000 per year, right? They may increase year over year, but if you want to save a lot of money, and I mean, some of us we have less time to save, so we have to put more money in to reach our goals. You are beautiful because you have 30 years to save. I only have 10, 15 years, right? And some of us have 5 years, so we gotta increase the amount of savings, okay? Here doesn't make sense because you can only put in $500 per month. But it's a good account for you to grow over long run. Most companies start to offer Roth 401k now. Take advantage of that up to the match. 529 is for you to go to college. It's quite inflexible because it's mutual funds related, and you can only choose one change per year. If you make the wrong change, your kids might not go to college that year because it's up and down. Mutual funds, right? And then if your kids doesn't want to go to college, you cannot take the money out. If you take it out for any other reason than education, it's penalized. So it's quite inflexible.
Yeah, don't use that.
If your kids don't go to college, you have to go back to school.
Does it have to be your kids? Let's say, you
can
use
transfer.
for your grandkids? Or?
Yeah, you can transfer among immediate family members.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Cash value life insurance is very attractive these days. Do we all know that when we talk about life insurance, right, James? It used to be when you die, your family gets tax-free money. That's it. But life insurance has evolved into a tax strategy for people. The wealthy people, they buy a lot of life insurance because they know they're gonna die. people who are not wealthy, for some reason, they don't think that they're
No.
gonna die. So they don't need life insurance. Right? They buy a lot of life insurance, they don't really buy total life insurance. They buy cash value life insurance because that's exactly what it means. It builds up cash in your policy. And when you take it out, tax-free. You see? There's a story right here. My mentor, she's multiple seven-figure income in the financial industry. And most of her commission go into all these accounts. So she has probably 10 policies with different companies. Her life insurance probably north of 20 million. But she makes more money than that alive, right? And she puts her commissions in, it grows. Whatever the policy allows you to grow. Some policy gives you up to 15%, 12%. With a guaranteed floor, you never go down. So, puts money in when she needs to buy a farm or a new boat or whatever it is. She takes money out.
And the tax-free.
Capital gains tax-free. So it becomes later on, when you have this policy, you keep paying into it, you keep investing into it. Later on, it goes to work for you. Later on, you can use it as a bank. Put in, take out, no tax. This is the game that the wealthy play. And I want everybody that I talk to have the same knowledge and play the same game. So we all have a chance to win.
I want to just say, because thanks to you, right, your wife, your team, I've learned that, and now finally with having a plan like that, when I get my tax money back, if I'm going to get some, that's where it's going to go. Where before, I was like, I'm going to go buy this, I'm going to go buy that, with that money, instead of putting it somewhere like that where it's going to grow tax-free. So that's just been a big eye-opener, especially in the Hispanic culture, where for some reason they think those $5,000, $10,000 is for you to go buy a truck, and then you can't make the payments and you lose it, instead of investing it somewhere like this where it's going to be long run for you and your children. So
Yeah. Thank you, Rose, for that. And you feel really good. The feeling of having a solid plan and know where you're going and take the steps makes you feel very secure. So what we do for people is we take a look at all their finances and see where they're at and find out if they have discretionary income. That means after all your expenses, what's left? So how we're going to divide a discretionary income is, of course, going to divide it into 3 buckets. If they don't have anything over here, of course, we're going to use a larger percentage to send over here. Over here is good for tax deferral, but if you're making less than $200,000 per year income, I mean, this really doesn't matter, right? A lot of business owners, they make over $500,000. They need to defer some taxes right now because they don't want to pay taxes right now. They can defer up to $250,000 of their income if they open a defined benefit plan for their employees. So we have all these tax strategies for your income types as well. So some will go over here. Let's just say you're self-employed. Most of you are self-employed. You want to open an IRA and put some money in there. Okay? So percentage. And then if you don't have emergency fund yet, we recommend you gotta have some over here. You gotta build it up. Don't put all $1,000 over here because you're not making money work for you. You gotta build this up, and then you gotta build this up. You see that? So maybe 300 over here, 400 over here, 300 over here. If they have more money, put more money in. If they have less money, then we can diversify. Now, you feel really good. I get money, diversify everywhere. I'm building my emergency funds. If something happens, I don't have to tap into this. Now you have a solid plan. You see that? And then we work with companies to open these plans, like Prudential, Nationwide, Transamerica, all these big names. I hope I'm not over time. I tend to keep going. Questions?
Question.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a question for my accountant, but on the third bucket, the HSA, can an individual who owns their own LLC create their own HSA account?
You have to create an individual account. You cannot create it under the LLC.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be through the health insurance provider that you are utilizing through the LLC to create that HSA?
Most likely, yes. Our accountant has designed things very special, and so, you know, it's like, if things are coming into the main account and there's 3 owners, then